This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 586 for January 14th, 2019. Angry Spaghetti?
He did nothing wrong, he just got rid of them.
Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpier.
Hello.
I got your name right this time.
Yes, we did.
Unlike pre-show. I don't think we really have anything to talk about here at the beginning. Nah, not really. So let's get started with what you've been playing.
Oh boy. Where do I start? Okay, let's start with the oldest game I have. Right there. Yes, no, maybe, I don't know, whatever. We talked last week, Monkey Senior picked us both up a copy of Katamari Rerolled.
Yes.
I played some of that this week. I wish I knew how to measure frame rates, because let me tell you, playing that thing on this PC is something truly special.
Is it buttery smooth?
Minus the fact that the game starts in windowed mode, and I have a 13:9 or some weird like thing monitor, so it didn't take up the whole thing. I had to do the tutorial, then I could change the settings and get it full screen. But yeah, that thing runs so crisp, so smooth, so music, much wow, big Katamari. It's that's a good game.
Yeah.
I'm only rolling up like pins and stamps and ink pads and stuff like that right now.
Mahjong tiles.
Yeah, exactly. And getting hit by a moth or something.
Some small mouse.
Yeah. But you know what? There's something truly charming and unique about that game.
Even still, like I feel like there hasn't been... Donut County is probably the closest we've ever gotten to something being sort of in the spiritual successor arena of that. But, man, nothing else has really ever tried to do anything like that. Yeah,
it's ridiculous how charming is the best thing I can use to describe it. Like, it's so unique in the style and the gameplay and everything else about it that it's difficult to put into words. That even what's this, 10, 15, 20 years after it's come out?
Oh boy, a scary amount of time, yeah.
Considering Mass Effect 1 was 2007.
Boy, that was audio of me turning to dust.
Yes, that was us realizing we are old, is what that was. Didn't realize Lance Henriksen does voices in those games. Totally forgot about that.
Oh yeah,
so appropriate. But yeah, Katamari Rerolled, like, it's so high res. It runs so smooth. Yeah. And this is cue the part for everyone to start and me saying, well, this is why you should be a PC gamer, bro. But it's Katamari. I wouldn't be able to run anything like... I don't see me running PUBG even anywhere close to that.
You're right.
But it's so good.
Yeah.
Katamari is so good. Katamari is so fun. And you know what? It might end up just being a wind-down game for me. It's like, I got 15 minutes. I'll go roll up a couple of buildings or two.
Yeah, and that's a great part about the levels not being super long. Is it's like, okay, this level's at most 10 minutes. Perfect. I got 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll just jump in, do my little wibbly-wobbly, roly-poly thing, and then I'll be done. And it's great.
Yeah.
And inspired by Katamari Rerolled, I started Donut County.
There you go.
Which I picked up on the PlayStation 4 last year, thinking, I'll get to this before Game of the Year.
Oops.
I didn't. Like, not even close to getting near there.
Right.
But, who cares? I got it. I picked it up. I bought it on PS4. Of course, it's out on Xbox One now, my preferred platform.
Of course.
So, by the time I started playing this exclusive game, it came to the non-exclusive platform. Fine, whatever. I'll probably end up buying it again because this game so far has been super duper charming.
Yeah.
It's basically Katamari, except instead of ball make bigger, it's hole make bigger, drop things in.
Yeah.
I love, what's his name? BK
the raccoon. Yep.
Yeah, I love how BK tries to spin everything into a positive. He is a quintessential salesman. Where he's just
it's never his fault.
Never my fault. I did you a favor. You ordered a donut and a hole showed up at your house. That's not my fault. That's all on you because you wanted the donut. You said you had a snake problem. I got rid of the snakes and your house and you and your life. But the snakes are gone. That's the most important thing.
The snakes are in the hole. Everything's fine.
Exactly. He is the quintessential dropping a bomb on something to get rid of a small problem.
Yep. We're all in the hole. Everybody's happy. Everyone's fine.
All about a quadcopter as well. So I'm about halfway to the quadcopter level.
Yeah.
So I think I've done I'm probably about halfway through the game based on how long people have said this thing is.
Yeah, it's not. It's just a couple hours.
But yeah, I love the humor and the trashtonary.
Trashopedia.
There we go. The Trashopedia is probably one of my favorite things.
Those descriptions are so good.
The whole point of them is they are written from the perspective of a raccoon.
Yep.
And I don't know if anyone could have actually written the description from a raccoon's perspective any better than what they actually have. Because it's so well done. The stupidest things make perfect sense. I think it's a box is they refer to a box as a home, and then a trailer is a portable home, and it's hard to come up with. I sat there and took screenshots of the whole a whole bunch of the items because they're just so funny. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I think the snake was referred to as angry spaghetti.
It's so the whole game is just really charming like that.
That makes perfect sense to me because it's okay, all a raccoon cares about is food. All a raccoon is interested in is food. So they're interested in garbage and stuff like that. A raccoon would come across spaghetti a lot because it's going to get tossed out because everybody makes too much spaghetti. Fact of life number one, everyone makes too much pasta.
Yeah.
So they're going to see spaghetti a lot. And what is a snake? A snake looks like spaghetti. So it makes perfect sense that a raccoon would coordinate angry spaghetti as a snake. It's just it's just so perfect. So if you're playing Donut County, do yourself a favor and check in on the Trashopedia because there's some gold in them there hills.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
God, that game is good.
Yeah, it really is. Played a little bit more Iconoclasts, rapidly approaching Game Club a week. When is that? That's next week, isn't it?
Next Saturday, yeah. This upcoming Saturday.
Oh boy. So I'm doing my best to stream this game. I may have to stream a lot more this week in order to make the difference to the end of the game because I feel like I'm getting close, but not close enough.
Can you non-spoilery say where you are?
Tower of Teenagers.
Yeah, you're pretty close.
I have just finished the Tower of Teenagers.
Okay. Yeah, the real last area is City 1. So I think you're heading there right now.
I honestly don't know.
Okay.
I may have just had a character switch, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah, the game kind of does that a lot.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of being the chick with the shotgun. Her controls were
Mina.
Yes.
Yeah.
She plays too many mobile games and then uploads them to the YouTube,
Hey, references.
Let's see how many people get that one.
Yeah.
Well, head controls were just weird, and the shotgun being a press the button once to load to aim it. It's just twin stick shooter.
It's weird.
It wasn't intuitive, really.
Yeah.
But it's a good game so far. We'll get into a deep dive on it, but so far I've got positives and negatives. But I'm doing my best to stream the entirety of the game Tuesday or Thursday as of right now. We'll see if I need to throw in an extra Wednesday this week just to try and make it to the end.
Right.
But yeah, Iconoclasts, and if you're looking to, if you're interested but don't want to play it, feel free to watch my archive streams because I'm going to try and make sure that they're all there. Let's see. Forza Horizon 3. Because I want a relaxing game and I want more space on my hard drive, and Forza Horizon's right there, and I haven't finished 3 yet. Right. So I might as well play some more 3. This is essentially I don't know what I want to play. I'm just going to do a championship or 2 in the stupid snowy mountain area and then get that done and dusted eventually. No joke intended when I said dusted because of the snow.
Are you finishing that stuff completely before you go to Hot Wheels?
I've already played a little bit of Hot Wheels. Okay. So I've played I think I'm up to the S2 classes in Hot Wheels. Like I haven't done the big event or whatever, like the final Hot Wheels event. But I've done bits and pieces of the Hot Wheels races. But it was one of those things where at the time, I think I was Forzaing myself out by just playing nothing but Forza. So I'm taking my time with it. I'm going to do it little bit by little bit. Kind of play it as a game as a service kind of game. Just do little bits and pieces and then come back to it around.
Wait for reset to happen.
Yeah, wait for reset to happen. Then get my new stuff, and then you know move on to Forza Horizon 4 with the season changes and everything. But that shouldn't be as much of a I don't want to call it this. It shouldn't be as much of a chore as 3. Because
there's definitely less grind.
Yes. Which is something I am very much looking forward to with playing 4 again. But to be honest, it's like I just want to milk as much as I can out of 3, because not like I haven't put enough hours into it already, but I like my percentage bars being really close to full, if not full. Right. So I just want to get those things done.
And 3 is still great. I mean, 4 I think does a lot of stuff right. You know, I think both of us struggled with 3 versus 4 when we were talking about 4 on the top 10 for 2018, but 3 is really great.
3 is it's a genuinely great game that's pretty much only outclassed as a racing game in my opinion than by 4. It's like, okay, it makes perfect sense that the sequel would knock it off my favorite current racing game thing.
But thankfully it's not one of those ones where a sequel comes out and it's like, man, that previous game was trash. It's like, no, 3 is still really, 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 really good. It's just 4 does everything a little bit better.
Oh yeah, and then you've got the opposite of that, which is when The Crew 2 comes out. It's like, wow, The Crew is great.
Right. Mistakes have happened.
Yes. I played a little bit of Strange Brigade. Again, it's just a chill out game. Like, I'm not feeling any like single player monstrosity story based games right now. I'm playing comfort food gaming where I can go in, shoot a bunch of mummies and not have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
That was the most American sentence I've ever said.
Also the plot synopsis for The Mummy.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's Strange Brigade. I played it with Rob and T, community members. Ran around, shot a bunch of stuff, got a bunch of collectibles, Knoppert jars, cats, funny Britishisms because it's a cheesy 40s English movie apparently.
Right.
It's dumb fun.
All in a day's work.
Yeah, exactly. What's next for the Strange Brigade?
Our boys on the Western Front.
Exactly. That's literally the exact presentation of the game. And you know what? It's fun. It's stupid. It's quick. I can jump in, do a level. I don't have to focus. And does it matter if I die? No. Am I starving to death because of hunger? No. There's none of that stuff. It's just an arcade shooter. And right now that's fine. I mentioned last week I picked up Beatkick Special Edition. Because I was kind of feeling a rhythm game, along with Crypt of the Necrodancer for We Roguelike It.
Right.
So, yeah. I started playing Beatkick. It took me a couple of rounds to get used to the mechanics of the game. I love the fact that they've essentially got the same kind of note types that you get in actual instrumentation-based rhythm games. It's like, okay, this is the hold, that's the tap, that's the half beat, so on and so forth. Like, great, that's fine.
Yeah.
I went through, I did a couple of like levels on easy, and I was like, okay, I can do this. This is fine. I'm usually anywhere between 3 to 5 stars first time, nice and easy.
Yeah.
Jumped up to medium. I was like, okay, this is harder. Mm-hmm. I only did the first song on medium. I haven't completed the game. I'm just getting an idea of where I'm going to sit on the difficulty scale.
Right.
Jumped up to hard. Lasted 13 seconds.
That sounds about right.
It's like, yep, okay.
Yeah.
So they've done the Rock Band trick of, in Rock Band, I believe it, easy to normal to hard is understandable jumps. Like, they just add another note onto the fretboard. It's dead simple. Yep. Just add another note. Then it goes to expert, where it's just like, oh, you like walls and notes, do you?
You're playing every note.
Let me hashtag build this note wall just for you to fail out.
Mm-hmm.
That's how this feels.
Okay.
It's the jump from hard to expert on Rock Bands. We've got a slow stream of people coming to attack you one by one, just like a kung fu action movie. Mm-hmm. It's like, you can handle these, and then the hard difficulty, it feels like the wall, like I'm standing at the wall of zombies thing in that movie that made from that book, where it's just like a horde all climbing the wall at once. It's like, right. I'm done. Like, I'm 100% done.
Yeah, the zombies can just eat me. I'm not gonna fight this.
Mm-hmm. That's how it feels, because all of a sudden you go from like once every 4 beats to once every 2 beats, easy to medium, and this is like hit someone maybe twice every beat. And by the way, everyone has got little bonus things which you need to double tap the button for when you actually to collect the bonus items from them.
Oh, wow.
So all of a sudden, it's just like, I could probably just use my one thumb and hit all 4 buttons over and over and over again and do better than I'm doing now. I could monster mash this and it would be fine.
Yeah.
But it makes me laugh because it feels like the music choices in the game feel very limited. It feels like they got like 4 artists and then just used like a bunch of different songs by them. Last Resort is in this game. So I'm so hyped to get to the end of the game, because Last Resort's like the second to last song. It's
right.
Like, I want to be 16 again. Thank you very much.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, I'm gonna go back to medium and probably play through the game on medium, but it's a good old, it's a good old rhythm game, and it's been like an actual rhythm game, and it's been so long since I've had that. It's so good.
Yeah.
I miss that. I miss my big plastic guitar and the stupid clicky noises. And
I was thinking about playing Rock Band 4 the other day, because I have my guitar over there in the corner of the room, and I was sort of like, I know I can't play it with a 2-year-old, but I would really like to fire up the old Xbox One and have my whole collection back there.
Yeah,
again.
That's also because you probably dropped about $6,000 on DLC over the course of that series.
I actually didn't spend that much, because I know there was a lot of people that was buying every song that was coming out, and I wasn't doing that. I don't think I did that from the beginning, but I did buy.
You did it a lot, dude.
Buy a lot of stuff. Yeah,
you did.
Yeah, there were a couple good albums I picked up. So
yeah, that's true. But way before I came on, there was a Rock Band section of the show, dude.
There was, yeah. Originally, Brad and I would talk about the Rock Band. I think I don't think it started with Guitar Hero, but yeah, it was definitely the Rock Band songs being released this week.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was a good time.
Yes, and you have a ridiculous library, but it's one of those things. It's like I kind of miss it.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I don't miss having a giant plastic guitar in my house.
Yeah.
So this is a good medium because it's all face buttons. And I should probably play it with a non-elite, because I think I might smash it at some point.
That makes sense.
I might have to switch out for one of my other controllers. Let's see what else. Walking Dead New Frontier.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I know who the New Frontier are.
Oh, okay.
It's a group in the game. I have had numerous story developments. There have been deaths. I'm being as
naturally
spoiler-free as I possibly can.
There have been zombies.
There were zombies at some point. Muertas, as they call them in this game. My Spanish is terrible.
Yeah.
This has not been the strongest Walking Dead season that I've played, but by no means is this the weakest. I feel like the honor of that one goes to The Walking Dead Michonne, which is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that particular season. Even the 200 Days of Summer or whatever it is, which I know is a movie. Don't at me. 200 Days of Zombie Summer, fine.
Right.
Even that is interesting because it brings in a bunch of characters which you then see in season 2.
Oh, okay.
It feels very interesting because the person who you're connected to is Clementine. She is the person who you have dealt with pretty much from season 1, season 2, into this season. Mm-hmm. But you don't play as her. You play as people around her, and she goes off and does her own thing. It does very interesting flashbacks to like fill in the story between season 2 and where she is here. So it does a whole bunch of backwards and forwards, which is really, really cool. But my attitude towards this game is screw everybody who isn't Clementine.
Right. Clearly your favorite.
Yeah. Because she seems to have consistently gotten, yet again, shocker, a bad time of it.
Right.
Considering at the end of season 2, I left her with a friend looking after a baby.
Great. That sounds great in a zombie-infested wasteland.
Mm-hmm. She was safe at the end of that.
Right.
And now, she's like 5 years older. She's maybe 12, 13, 14 at this point. Mm-hmm. And oh boy, does you see the character development through the seasons to where she is just a cold block of concrete.
Right.
And it's pretty much... It's not explicitly stated that your decisions have formed her into this person, but you can tell she has a soft side. Like, the part I keep talking with her, and when you're talking with her, she's like, I always want to be around people. People always die, so therefore I don't like people. But then people come along, and I start to get close to people, and I feel like I need them again, and then people die. And then it's like, it's the survivor's guilt kind of story told through the eyes of a 12-year-old who went through Walking Dead season 1 is bad enough to torment her for the rest of her life. Mm-hmm. Oh. Yeah. New Frontiers, it's not the best, it's not the worst. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm looking forward to seeing where the final one goes, if/when that ever comes out.
Right.
With the whole kerfuffle over that.
Episode 3 is supposed to come out this week.
Okay. Well, we have it. So we'll see how that goes. But no, it's good. I feel bad for them because I don't think anything they've ever done could possibly top season 1.
Yeah, it's just so strong from front to back.
Mm-hmm. It's like Life is Strange. Like season 2, I'm looking forward to. Mm-hmm. You ain't gonna beat season 1.
Oh, of Life is Strange, yeah,
mm-hmm. Yeah. Like you're just not gonna be able to do it because it's impossible.
Before the Storm came real close.
I still need to play Before the Storm, so
it's good. It's actually pretty short.
Oh, might get to maybe.
Yeah, I think it's around... It's probably comparative to the length of the Telltale Batman stuff. Like, it's certainly not the longest stuff they've had.
Yeah, I might have to go and look at that. It's weird, because I feel like all I'm playing right now is Choose Your Own Adventure games.
That's good, though.
Yeah. Rock Band and Choose Your Own Adventure games is like back to 1995 with me, kind of thing.
Exactly.
That's pretty much all I've been playing, but... Before we move on to you, I would like to just mention 2 things. Number one, I meant to mention this last week. I'm an idiot.
Fair enough. And the second thing?
Thank you, Boston.
You're welcome.
So, my Xbox has a lot of games installed.
Right.
This is a problem. We have discussed this.
We're working through it together as a show.
Yeah, as a show and as a community, and community members are helping me to clear my heart/hard drive of all the existential content that I need/don't need anymore.
It takes a Ubisoft village.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or it takes a TVGP town. There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Coach Jamal in chat. Shh. That's for next week.
Okay. Coach Jamal chat asks, didn't you start Yakuza 0? And Moon says, no, not yet.
I may or may not have inserted that into my PlayStation about 2 hours ago.
Okay. Get installing, patching.
Exactly. It was a gift from my wife for Christmas. Nice. I kind of want to get started on that and see where the craziness goes. Speaking of single player games to take me places.
Right. Yeah, your wife had sent me a message before Christmas. Said,
yeah, she mentioned this. Like she said,
do you think you'll like Yakuza 0? And I was like, yes, please. Yes, please, he needs to play it.
Yeah, she was torn on which one to get because at the time, I think 6 was out, 5 was out, Kiwami 2 was on its way out, Kiwami 1 was out, and Yakuza 0 was out. And she was like, which one?
Right. Well, there's 40 of them. What do I do?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that will be next week, Coach Jamal. You spoiler of spoilers, you. But no, I wanted to mention, like, something I keep forgetting with the Xbox is when you're on the home screen, if you are not paralyzed by choice and you know what you're going to play, literally hit the Y button, it pops open the search keyboard, start typing in the thing you're going to play, and right top left it will say installed, name of game, click it, it just launches the game. You don't have to go through all my games and apps and watch everything load and all that kind of stuff.
That'll save me so much time because that OS is so slow.
Yes, you literally hit Y, start typing the thing you want to play, and it pops up in the search field along with a bunch of stores. It's hilarious because the first time you hit it before you start typing, guaranteed, YouTube, Fortnite, and then something else will be there.
It's like all the popular apps. Yeah,
exactly. So search function, quite handy. And something I wanted to talk about as well was True Achievements, a site I'm a fan of. Someone posted this year an article about the efficiency with spending, and I think it's a good idea, and it's something I'm going to do this year, so I wanted to let you guys know, and just in case, because I know we're all bad at this. It's a spreadsheet that they put together using Google Sheets of games they bought last year and whether or not they felt that they got their money's worth out of playing these games.
Okay.
So he put together a spreadsheet to try and basically track his own spending. So it's like, I bought 60 games, I played 3 of them to the point where I feel like I got my money's worth. I didn't do the rest of them. So in 2018, I did like 12% of the money I spent on video games was actually worth it because all the rest of the stuff, I don't feel like I've played it enough.
Okay.
So it's a really cool concept. So I'm actually going to be doing that this year. So he gives you a link. He says, here's the spreadsheet, just copy it to your own drive and then take care of it yourself. Tweaking it a little bit for me personally, as you are fine to do yourself as well, especially Boston with his weird spreadsheet nonsense knowledge.
Hey, I have a database for my games, thank you.
I don't, because I'm too lazy.
Oh, I bought we talked about it a couple weeks ago about that app.
But yeah, it's an interesting idea, so I thought I'd give it a go. So far, it's January 13th today. I have, as a household, we have bought 3 games.
Nice.
One of them was free.
Okay.
And 2 were the 2 indie games I talked about last week, which is Odium to the Core and Kickbeat, which I played today, or talked about today. But I'm hoping to keep up with this throughout the course of the year, because I know last year I probably spent maybe $600 I didn't need to on games that I haven't even touched yet.
Right.
So I have a little bit extra to take into that, because it's like, I know, for example, there's numerous games on my list that my wife definitely got her money's worth out of. And we kind of share wallets, essentially, as because we
share wallets, share libraries. You're married.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting idea. I will try and fire over a link to you, Boston, if you want to put it in the description or whatever.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. I'm sort of adverse to the idea of someone trying to say... I think this is interesting because it's a different tack that most people play. Most people say, like, all right, I paid $60 for this game. I played 30 hours, so it's, $2 an hour and yada yada. I hesitate doing that because I feel like that is a really great 5-hour game that costs you $30. Seems like it isn't worth it, and it leads people to be sort of disappointed in pretty much everything they play.
Yeah.
I like that this is a different
value ratio kind of thing.
Yeah, and I feel like this is a different tack to take, where it's sort of like, trying to take stock of how much you pay for and play a year, and trying to say, well, do I need to buy this when it comes out? Because I'm not going to play it for 6 months. It'll be $20 when it comes out then.
And it also takes into account like everybody's personal thing. Like literally, I have it like it's. Did I play this game enough to to warrant the money I spent on it? And it's literally a yes/no drop-down box. It's
more about how you feel
as an individual. And like Odeon to the Core, I paid $5 for. Even if I play it for 2 hours between now and the end of the year, did I get my money's worth? Yeah, because it's a really psychedelic experience that I probably can't play a whole lot. Exactly. Yeah. That's probably worth $5 for a couple of hours. I pay 5 times as much as that to go watch a movie. So,
Right.
It's fine. That's good. Kick Beat, I paid $10 for. I will more than likely get my money's worth out of that as well. So it becomes the thing of how you feel rather than cold math. It brings in that personal level of things, which I like, and I'm fine with that. So bring it on. Let me track my spending for this year and see how much I didn't need to spend.
Right.
But yeah, that's all I've been playing. So, Mr. Boston, tell me all about your Destiny 2s and your Pokemon Go's.
We will not be talking about Destiny 2 this week. We'll be talking about it in news stories.
I expected that one.
Yeah.
Are we not going to talk about the chaotic stupidness in regards to the
Niobe Labs? Yeah, no, because I feel like it's too inside baseball.
Okay.
So I did
some research on it.
Yeah, the short of it is Bungie opened this event called Niobe Labs. It's important in the lore. I won't get into it. Is a giant puzzle, and due to a mistake that they didn't realize happened, a string of text was accidentally removed from the game, which would have made solving that puzzle really easy, as it was intended to be. It did not go that way. So the Destiny community is never happy about anything, and they're not happy about.
The toxicity side showed their true colors again with this.
Yeah, they weren't happy about content being locked behind a puzzle, and then they weren't happy about us getting the content without solving the puzzle. So go to hell, Destiny community. I have played the new Forge. Really great. It's really fun. But yeah, no Destiny 2 other than that. I have been playing The Gardens Between. Big shout out again to T-Bomb Rocks for recommending it to Moon and I, saying, hey, I think you guys would enjoy this. I really enjoy this game. Moon talked about it last week. There's something about, I don't want to call it simple, but straightforward puzzle games I really like.
That's a really good, appropriate word for it, yeah.
Yeah, like I really liked The Witness because it's one type of puzzle manipulated and stretched every different possible way you could draw a line on a screen.
Yeah.
And you're only doing that thing, but it's a million different ways. And I love The Gardens Between is only just the stick and the A button. You're going forward, you're going backwards, and you're interacting with something, which also might make something go forward and backwards. Like the puzzle I got stuck on was the Natural History Museum puzzle with the giant dinosaur skeleton, or like it looked like a dragon.
Yes.
You can fast forward and rewind the characters going through the stage, but you can also fast forward and rewind that skeleton either building up or falling apart to break parts of the level apart or create bridges with the bones to get to different areas. And it's such a smart solution, and it's such a cool idea. And I think it wouldn't have worked without the stages being so over-exaggerated.
Yeah.
Like you talked about last week, one of the great levels is the one with the VCR in it, where you have to, one of the early puzzles in that level, and each level is pretty short, you go over, you have to plug in the VCR to turn it on, walk back to hop on the remote to rewind it, it spits it out, and then you go across the tape to get to the other part of the level. One of my favorite puzzles in this so far has been, I think I'm a little over halfway. It's a pretty short game.
Yeah.
Which is great because something like Donut County, I don't want a game like this to overstay its welcome. I don't want 400 levels like this. Like, I'd rather get 15 and at the end of it go like, all right, that was just enough game for me to enjoy it. The level I really liked was the old technology museum.
The dot matrix printer?
Yeah, dot matrix printer. You're putting in a password on like a keypad, so your two characters are hopping back and forth on this keypad to put in the right password. There's a portion where there are these. If you play the game, you'll know. If not, it's a little confusing. There are like these jumping boxes in the environment you can put your lantern into. And you can sort of send them over somewhere and then bring your lantern back. One of them, at the end of the level, you send it into a TV that essentially has Mario 1-1 in it.
Yep.
And it plays through the level to get something for you.
The firepower is actually the orb of light you need in the lantern. Yep. So you put it on the thing, and when it picks up the firepower equivalent, it comes back out the TV with the orb already in it. It's great.
It's really good. And there's so many little parts to this. Like, there's some fog in some levels that will get dissipated by your lantern being lit, which is a positive if you're going to get through a barrier, but it's a negative if it dissipates under you as a bridge. Yep. It's really great. And we were talking last week about Unravel and how we really liked the storytelling in that. I really like a similar storytelling method in Gardens Between, where you get these little scenes, and they're not very long, and they're not really animated that much, but you can already tell the two main characters are sort of growing up and growing apart from each other, and they're sort of revisiting their childhood. The whole thing is so great. It's on Game Pass right now.
It looks gorgeous as well.
Really does, and it's one of my favorite things about the game is I love the main menu with like the train clicking and clacking in the background. One of my favorite things is when you quit the game, you pick quit game, and then it changes into actually quit, and you hit that to actually quit the game. It's really great. I don't want to spoil too many of the puzzles because I feel like I haven't run into a level that I've disliked. And I've played 12, 15 maybe total. Each section has 3 puzzles to it.
I think I ran into one level I wasn't a fan of, and that's it.
Yeah, the only level I had a hard time figuring out was that skeleton level, and it's because I wasn't paying attention when these like 2 bells rang together, what it was actually doing. Once I paid attention, I was like, oh, okay, go down here, do this, go ring, oh, okay, and then now I can leave. But
yeah, and each level's super short as well. It's like,
yep.
You can spend like 10 minutes to 30 minutes on a level, but in general, it's going to be closer towards the 10-minute section.
Yeah, I'm on one level now that I know is going to take me like 20 or 30 minutes to figure out, but to me, that's not a negative. It's just that the complexity of each level is increasing, but it's never... I never feel like they're too complex. Like, you just have to keep rewinding and fast-forwarding to see where things are hopping or see where stuff's falling apart or see how you can manipulate that stuff. And it's... I really have never felt like I just don't understand a level. I just need to sort of keep poking and prodding at it.
Yeah. What's the one thing you need to adjust to change the way the rest of the level is seen?
Right. Or like that dot matrix printer is like, which option do I need to to manipulate to get to the next part. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. All right, that makes sense. All right, I'll do this, and then okay, cool. And it's a lot of those. It's one of those great puzzle games that has so many aha moments, but it's one of those few puzzle games where you don't feel dumb about it. You just hadn't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so great. The Gardens Between, go get it. It's on Game Pass. I can tell it's only going to be a handful of hours, and that's really cool. Also on Game Pass, I picked up Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden.
Tell me all about your painful experiences with this game.
Yeah, I picked it up. T-Bone Rocks also was enjoying it. Cautioned me it was very difficult. And I looked a little bit at it and saw that it's like a turn-based strategy game. And I was like, well, okay, cool, that's in my wheelhouse. And then one of the main characters is a giant mutant duck whose name is Dux, D-U-X. And I was like, all right, sold. Just come on and get on my Xbox One. Frame rate on a vanilla Xbox One is bad. Just flat out. I feel like it's starting to get a little better now that I'm out of the tutorial area, but it's not really that great.
Oh, wow.
This game is really hard. This game is. I'm playing it on the three options you get for difficulty are normal, hard, and very hard. Game starts you on hard and says, like, we're not messing around on hard. Like, you're gonna run into some serious stuff. Very hard was very much like, don't even look at it. Like, you finish the game first. Nothing's over here.
Yeah.
And normal was basically like, look, you're experienced in strategy games. Normal will be ready for you. And I was like, could you put in easy? Like, I feel like easy my speed right now.
Call it easy, medium, and hard.
Well, probably because normal is still really hard. I feel like if you put easy on that difficulty, then you're
asking for trouble.
Yeah, it's like not what's on the tin. I think part of what I love and hate about this game is it's so, when you're not in combat, it is a real-time game. You're wandering around and it's not grid-based. So you're wandering around a fairly small area. Each area isn't really that big. And you have flashlight on, flashlight off, so you can sort of get your sneak on. But when you see enemies, you'll see their cone of sort of attention. The cone will get red if you're in eyesight. And
Metal Gear Solid style?
Yeah, cone isn't right. It's like a giant circle around them. Not cone.
Okay, like an awareness bubble.
Yeah. Please see the beginning of this episode where we are having trouble with our brains. So you can the more red the circle is, the more, I guess, attentive they are. You really want to get as close as you can to sneak up on them before you start combat. Like get behind some cover, get behind whichever enemies you want to take out first, then start combat, and then try and silently try and use your silent options as long as you can before the enemies notice you. That's how it's supposed to go.
How does it usually go?
I really don't know, because I can't get through the second turn of the third battle.
Yeah.
I now know what I need to do. Thank you very much, everyone on Twitter, for helping me. But the first two fights are fine. They're tough, but they seem fair. And I'm playing normal, so I get all my health back after each battle. But on the third fight, the first time I played it, I see these two enemies, and you're trying to get in this cabin and figure out where this guy went. Go to this cabin, see a couple enemies. All right, I'm going to get behind cover, start fighting. I accidentally use my loud weapon instead of my crossbow, alert all the enemies. This dude comes out from the house that has they're all mutants. Something, it's a post-apocalyptic, so something happened and everybody's mutants. You play as a mutant pig and a mutant duck. So, and I know it's based on some board game, but I don't know much about it. this dude comes out that basically has a tuba fused to him.
Okay.
He uses it. 3 enemies show up behind me and just destroy me. I was like, okay, cool. I won't do that next time. And then, of course, I screw up the next battle, and I do that on, like, turn 2, show up behind me, and totally destroy me. So, like, I know I need to go, and I need to take down that guy first, get my positioning right. But there's... part of my frustration is I love strategy games, I love strategy RPGs, and this, like, XCOM and Final Fantasy Tactics, and all these games are really in my wheelhouse. I get frustrated when there's battles like this in games that have no margin for error. Like, if you mess up the first turn, you're not really going to succeed in the rest of the fight. Like, you're already so far... The deck is so far stacked against you that you're never going to dig out of that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that's really rewarding, but having so much trouble in the third fight is really demoralizing. I'm going to stick to it, but it's getting pushed down my pile of shame right now because I have so much other stuff that isn't frustrating like that to play. That I feel like when I want that difficulty and I want a game that has no margin for error, that Mutant Year Zero will be there for me, and I can bang my head on each battle until I succeed it, like I'm playing a Dark Souls game. But
I was going to say, it sounds like Dark Souls real-time strategy.
Yeah, and it's a lot of, like, you have to have your skills. You need to know your skills and know exactly what they do. You need to keep in mind reloading your weapons and how many bullets you have left and how many enemies you have. And that's all great. The game seems really fun. Not right now for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of a bummer. I did play a lot more Spider-Man, though. I think I'm at 70%.
Okay.
I've been spending a lot of time pushing through the main story. As opposed to fighting yet more demons that are going to shoot rocket launchers at me. Please, God, make them stop. I do now, thankfully, have the skill that I can throw rockets back at them.
That was going to be my next question.
Could not unlock that fast enough.
Yep.
The 2 skills I've been really enjoying are the fully upgrade, like, hold triangle and rip stuff out of people's arms, like the big guns and the shields. Thankfully. And tossing rockets back. That's both been really great.
Have you done the web someone up and then use them as a spinny projectile to throw at other people?
Yeah, that one's fine. I feel like it takes a little bit too much time to do. I just did get the upgrade where spinning things damage enemies instead of just knocking them down, so that'll help.
Mm-hmm. I just love doing that because it's so funny, just webbing somebody up and then spinning this cocoon of a guy around.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I feel like there's been 3 types of enemies, like just street thugs with bats, which are basically at this point you punch them twice and they explode.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Fisk's guys, which are mostly entertaining. And then there's the demons, which are... I keep running into new types of demons where I was like, this one's got a sword. And it's like, great, that guy sucks. And it's like, how about this dude with a whip? Oh, that guy really sucks. And,
they've all got the stupid energy stuff, and you've got to know what not to do against each one.
Yep. Although that glowing black and white energy looks really cool.
Yep, it does.
One of my big... So I did all the Black Cat stuff, which was actually kind of fun. I like that so many of the side activities are very different from what you're normally doing.
Yep.
Like the Black Cat stuff is, here's a giant area, find the little glimmering cat with your camera and take a picture of it. You do that 12 times, you get a cool outfit. That was fun. One of the earliest trailers for this game, I think it was at E3 when it was maybe not announced, but maybe the year after that, with the helicopter chase scene.
Yep.
That was just as fun to play in the game as it looked in that trailer. That was a really great scene. chasing that thing throughout the whole city and like dodging that crane and trying to make sure it's safe and dodging rockets and all that stuff. That was a really cool scene. Spider-Man has done that a couple of times where you have these big these big movie climax moments, and I've liked every one of them, but that's in Act 1 that was probably the standout one for me.
Yeah, well, the good news is you've got a couple of chase scenes to go.
Yeah. So I actually finished Act 1. Minor spoilers. Miles Morales gets introduced, which is really great.
Yep.
Oddly, a third character to play as, which the difference of control schemes between Peter and the other two playable characters drives me a little crazy. Where it's like, cool, I'm just going to hold R2 and I'm going to vault over this. No, you're not, because you have to push forward and hold X, and that will vault you over.
Yeah.
A little weird. I was going to come on this episode today to complain about the MJ stuff, because I feel like up until the stuff I did this morning, I really get rhythm going with Peter's missions, and then I'm playing an MJ's stealth thing.
Yeah, like brakes on, screech to a halt, let's stop,
and her stuff is really interesting because a lot of her stealth stuff is really obvious.
Yeah.
And they're pretty easy, but it feels really good, like, duping these thugs to look over here, because I just, like, push over a tool chest, and he's like, what's the noise over there? And then you just sneak around behind him, like Solid Snake, like, half bent over. This stuff is fine. MJ's cool. Like, her investigative stuff is really cool, but I didn't like the rhythm between... I really like fighting as Spider-Man. Ever since I started playing it, I really liked that there's no block, there's no counter, there's none of that stuff. Like, you have to keep moving, and I think...
You have to keep dodging, which is kind of Spider-Man's thing.
And it feels so good, like, when you get that first upgrade, one of the early upgrades where you do a perfect dodge, and you just, like, and it just covers the enemy's face. Like, that always... The slowdown in his little...
Yeah.
That always feels cool. And... getting that rhythm down with his combat and being able to do a fight mostly flawlessly, because Lord knows I'm going to get hit by something, and doing all the optional objectives and all that stuff feels really great. And then sneaking around a museum sort of doesn't. But I did the last big story beat probably before you finish Act 2 with Grand Central Terminal.
Hostage situation? Yeah,
the hostage bomb, Grand Central Terminal stuff, which was really cool because you're... this is sort of spoilers, but I feel like most people have sort of played this already. You get to see Spider-Man from someone else's viewpoint, and...
Yep.
Mary Jane having Spider-Man do takedowns on enemies remotely, and just seeing from out of nowhere just went down, grabbed him, wrapped him up, and put him on the ceiling. Like, that was really, really cool. And there's dismantling the bomb and all the cool train stuff that happens afterward is really great. And every time I start getting frustrated with this game, because I don't think I like Spider-Man as much as everybody else has. A large part of it is because I'm burnt out from Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is my fault, so I'm not blaming anybody. But every time I sort of start feeling like, all right, I just started another mission and I figured out another material for, Doc Ock, and then 2 minutes later I'm back on the roof of Spider-Man. Then I have one of these cool scenes. I feel like the Norman Osborn rally didn't do it for me as much as the Grand Central Terminal did.
The rally I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
I kind of saw where it was going.
I'm also really tired of controlling enemies that are hurt and aren't moving very quickly. I understand why, but I just get a little bored. You're just sort of inching your way through this almost playable cutscene, basically, and it's like, oh, cool, come on, like I get it. Everybody's hurt and everything's on fire. Like, let's keep on moving. But
you're just so heartless, Boston.
I know, I really am. Just unbreak your leg. Let's get going. Like, but like Silver Sable showing up. I'm not a Spider-Man guy, but she seems cool. She's got some guns. I think that's interesting. Every time I sort of keep getting bummed about Spider-Man, there's a really great scene. And also minor spoilers, because the game cannot stop telegraphing it. The descent of Dr. Octavius is really interesting.
Yep.
Watching that decay and like build up is really great.
Yeah, it's a really good build on that front. There is some things that you will see at the end of the game, which is pretty great. When you, like you said, it's telegraphed like crazy, so it happens, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But when you go to that lab when nobody else is there, things get a little bit creepy at the end of the game. Like, really, really interesting like insights. Have you had the Mary Jane apartment scene yet?
There was one apartment scene where they were there and like Peter was cooking dinner.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah.
It has one of my favorite lines in the game, which is he shoots out the window as Spider-Man, and she's like, "Hey, did you just leave your pants on my kitchen floor?"
Yeah.
And he sticks his head back, and he's like, "Yep, sorry about that." And
yeah, he does like this cool backwards walk to be like, "Sorry, that was my bad."
Yeah.
Yeah, I all the voice acting is really great. All the motion capture performance capture is really great. I haven't had any more cutscenes where people look really weird.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks really great. It runs really great. I unlocked doing tricks in the air as Spider-Man, which is really dumb. I thought that was going to be cooler than it was.
I did it for the trophy, and that's it. I'm done.
Yeah, I really like taking the subway and letting people sleep on Spider-Man. That's really good.
I cannot wait until you see what that evolves into towards the end of the game. It's great.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not breaking new ground here by saying Marvel Spider-Man is really good.
Mm-hmm.
It ended up on a lot of top 10 lists last year for a reason. I still think, obviously I haven't finished Act 2, and I know that a lot of stuff happens story-wise in Act 3. But, as of so far, I definitely don't think it would have gotten on my top spot. But, I mean, that's not to say it's a bad game. It's just... Yeah. 2018 was full of stupidly good games, and
yes, it was.
Spider-Man is one of those. And last but not least, yesterday, actually, Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition came out.
Yeah, it did.
So I'm playing the PS4 version. Came out on PC, which I hear doesn't really have any problems. Switch, which I haven't heard anything about. Xbox One, I hear runs well, and PS4. Great thing about PS4, looks stupid good. They did a whole remaster pass on the whole thing, and it looks incredible. Interestingly, runs at 60 frames, which is really great. The smoothness that game plays at, especially in battles, feels really, really, really good.
Yeah.
I know that there's extra content. So the game came out on 360 originally. There was a re-release in Japan on PS3 that added a whole bunch of extra stuff, including a bunch of extra characters.
Mm-hmm.
They're bringing the PS3 version here out to that's why it's the definitive edition, because it contains all the extra stuff in it.
Yeah.
They didn't go back to all the original voice actors. Most notably, Yuri, the main character. It's Troy Baker, if I believe. They didn't go back to him. They got a sound-alike, which I haven't run into yet because I'm only like an hour into it. I just finished the first dungeon. I hear it's not the smoothest transition between him and the sound-alike, but I haven't really run into that yet. So
yeah,
The Japanese track is on here as well, so if that's something that really drives you crazy, the full Japanese language is on there.
Yeah, is it also possibly a case of Troy Breaker's a lot bigger now than he was when the game came out? So
he said on Twitter they never asked him.
I wonder if they were afraid of the amount of zeros he'd won on at the end of his check.
Yeah,
because this is, if I'm right, isn't this Troy Breaker, also known as Booker from BioShock Infinite?
Yeah, and like virtually everything else.
Mm-hmm.
It's I get it, and it's the only reason I'm kind of bummed about it is because I really love Tales of Vesperia, and I really like the main character because so often in JRPGs we talk about a lot on Pup, where it's just like, I'm going to win by the power of friendship, and like everyone's coming together and we're the good guys.
The Eternal Sonata ending.
Yeah, and the main character of Tales of Vesperia is not a good guy, and he has not done good things, and he's morally pretty gray. And that's part of the reason why I like Vesperia so much, is because it's not this 10-year-old kid with a giant sword going to kill God with friendship. Like it's not a standard JRPG. It is a party of generally older people and a dog that smokes a pipe, which is awesome. And doing stuff that kind of maybe a lot of RPGs would shy away from. And it's a really cool story, really well told. And that's kind of the only reason I would be bummed about it, but I haven't really run into it too much yet. The last bit for Tales of Vesperia is I didn't even realize when this came out, there were 2 free content packs on all the stores. One of them is basically a pack of 15 or 20 of like every item in the game, including consumables and crafting items and all that stuff, including it's like 10 or 12 costumes for everybody and in-game titles and just a whole bunch of stuff. I think that was a lot of stuff that you paid to download on the 360 version, where it's like you can look like the main character of Tales from the Abyss and all their main characters. The other thing, too, is it gave you a bunch of level boosters. So basically, if you use all of them, all of your characters are going to be level 40 right away.
Okay.
I unfortunately won't be doing that because I'm going for a bunch of trophies, which every boss battle has a secret objective in it.
Yeah.
And some of them are very much like you have to wait for the boss to do this thing and then hit this specific part. But that's really great, especially if you just want to sort of blow through Tales of Vesperia. Start at level 40, you're going to be cruising through the beginning of that game. And it's totally optional if you don't want to, or if you just want to boost it by like 5 levels and make the beginning of the game easier. I really like that stuff for remasters and remakes of older JRPGs because you don't have to worry so much about the length. You don't have to worry about grinding, which wasn't really too bad in Vesperia to begin with. But even if you don't like RPGs and you just wanted to check out an RPG that people really love, just pop a bunch of those things, and next thing you know, you're like a quarter of the way to the level cap. So
that's good.
Yeah, and it's free. A lot of games would say like, $5 for the level boosting pack. Like this game was only $40 or however much it is. So just fork over the cash. But so far so good. I think everything is good, and Tales of Vesperia is good. I wish I had more time to dive into it, but I'm really putting all my energy to finishing Spider-Man because I really want to play some of that DLC. And they're teasing Fantastic Four DLC on Twitter for that game. So
yeah, but they're teasing Fantastic Four, so because the new Fantastic Four comic is coming out soon. I think it might be a reboot of the 4 because that's currently getting promoted in Marvel Strike Force. And probably getting promoted in
Puzzle Quest?
There we go, Marvel Puzzle Quest. My guess is they're gonna give you the Spider-Man Fantastic Four costume because Peter Parker was a member of the Four for a while. I believe he replaced Human Torch at some point.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yep. So I
have like so much comic knowledge. I don't know.
I bet you the thing that you'll get for that will be Spider-Man's Fantastic Four costume.
That'd be cool. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I've been playing this week. So let's take a break. Let's talk releases for the week of January 14th, 2019. Onimusha Warlords comes out for PC, Xbox One, PS4, and Switch. They were remastering the first game, which... The thing that's really weird about this is why not just do the first three? The first game is really short.
Why not do the first three? Because I'm pretty sure the third one has Leon the Professional in it.
It does, yeah.
And licensing him is Jean Reno. There we go. Yeah. I remembered his name. Pretty sure that license may have lapsed a long time ago.
Probably, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, Onimusha was my jam. Like, it was my jam.
That was a really good... That first game was lightning in a bottle when it came out. And that was really something else.
Yeah.
It was like when the first Devil May Cry came out, and people were like, wow, this is something else.
And the first Parasite Eve, and every other game like that. Yeah. Oh, something truly special that they did nothing with. I say nothing, but, you know.
Yeah. Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown comes out for PC, Xbox One, and PS4. I'm fairly sure this is coming out. I sort of couldn't tell if it is or isn't.
I'm sorry, did you say the release date for that was December 2019? Okay, good.
December 2038.
Okay, no, that's good. Good. I'm glad I've got some time before I need to dive down that
rabbit hole again. You got a couple months, yeah. And last but not least, Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes comes out for the Switch. I thought this was just a remake of the first game. It's not. It's like a spin-off where the devs worked with a bunch of other developers like the Hotline Miami and Shovel Knight teams to make a bunch of vignettes, basically.
Yeah.
So, kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird. Coach Jamal asks, is that a thing? Licenses on celebrities in video games? I think it's more the fact that he's a real-life person, so they had to license his likeness and his voice acting.
It's actually his face in the game.
So, like, it's probably more a case of licensing deal with, like, the performance side of things. So my guess would be that they don't have the rights to reissue a new version of that.
They don't have rights to his face. His face texture.
It's like when you sign for a big corporation, you'll occasionally have to sign something that says, yes, you can use my likenesses in all the things you do.
Exactly, yeah.
And I can't do nothing about it.
Right.
Even if you work as at the office, which is really weird.
Right. All right, let's move on to news stories. There are two really big news stories this week. First one is Bungie has split up with Activision and gets to keep the dog in the divorce, which in this case is Destiny.
But they lost the house.
Yeah, maybe. But this one's really interesting. So, famously, Bungie and Activision went into that 10-year deal. A lot of it was for marketing and publishing on Activision's end. But there were a lot of stipulations, and one of the big stipulations on Bungie was every fall you need to have either a new game or a new big piece of DLC.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to assume that as part of this split, that won't be a requirement anymore. I think I obviously have a lot of thoughts, but I think the biggest one is that this is not really... It's surprising that it happened before the 10 years is up. I'm not surprised it did happen, though. Activision has been very vocal over the last couple months, saying, like, man, that Destiny 2 is really not selling as much as we want it to. Cough, cough, cough.
Well, was it Destiny 2 or 1 that I saw that the number that cost them to publish it and promote it was $500 million?
So, I hate that this number keeps coming up. That was the total marketing budget over the 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Because when that came to light during Destiny 1, where people are like, it took $500 million to promote Destiny 1. It's like, no.
Okay, so it's $500 million over the 10 years. That's
right.
Wow.
So $50 million a year, basically, for publishing and marketing and promotion and all that stuff. So I believe it had publishing costs associated with it as well.
Yeah, I believe it did.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still a lot of money for publishing and promoting. Just putting 1 year into this, $50 million. How many games have a $50 million publishing, and does that include the cost of developing the game? Does that include the wages for the salaries, or is that just to put the game out?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, that's sort of Activision's MO. Like, new Call of Duty, it's everywhere for months, and then it goes away, and then, brand new Call of Duty, and it's everywhere for 3 or 4 more months. But Call of Duty is going to make 10 times that much money in its first weekend, where Destiny, for whatever reason, has continued to stumble and falter and let Activision down. And it has not turned into the hundreds of millions of dollars per year that Activision really wants it to be, because the changes that have been happening in Destiny 2 have increased player engagement, but decreased player revenue. Exactly. Like, they're not coming out with a $30 expansion every 3 months. They came out with a $30 expansion that lasts for 9 months. That increases player engagement. But I think people might be getting too excited about this.
Honestly, I don't know where to stand for this, because I don't want to throw the nail in the coffin, the crucifix to the vampire, whatever you want to say.
Right.
This is the second time Bungie have signed up with a major developer or major publisher.
Yep.
And things have gone south because of one reason or another.
Yep.
We've said before, and you specifically have said before as well on the show, I believe, Bungie doesn't release things on time, which is a problem.
Throughout their history.
I think that's pretty much what caused the split with Microsoft.
Right. And Bungie wanted to go make Destiny, which apparently
Microsoft doesn't want them to. Allegedly,
Microsoft was not interested in.
Well, they wouldn't be. They've got the Halo makers making Halo, so that's fine.
Yeah, and I don't think they were... I don't think Microsoft was really interested in this weird, this games as a service model that has really blossomed the last couple of years. I think when you put that on paper, Microsoft looks at it and goes, no, because Halo's selling really well. Like, get back to making Halo, man.
Yeah, and this is also pre Mr. Spence, or pre-Philly Spence.
Yep.
Which is, that's how we should chronologically order the Microsoft decisions when it comes to the Xbox stuff, is pre-Spence and post-Spence.
Yes.
The problem is they both acronize to PS and PS, so I don't know how we're going to do this.
Yeah. I think the thing for people to be cautious about is it's really easy to look at Bungie as the underdog who is dancing along to the puppet strings of Activision, and Activision says more microtransactions. It's really easy to
that was
to
a
look
really
at
good
that.
Bad guy laugh.
Thank you. That's my Bobby Kotick. But it's really easy to paint Activision Blizzard in that light. I think really quickly we're gonna find out who the bad guys really are, and I don't think everyone's gonna like the answer. Because I think you're gonna look at Destiny 2 at the end of the year, and I think we're gonna see at least status quo, if not an increase in microtransactions, and probably not a lot of much faster movement out of Bungie. Because I think what people need to remember is you've stopped answering to a publisher and you're going to publish your own stuff.
Yep.
Who are you going to answer to now?
The fans.
That's likely an investor.
An investor or the fans. If they're because hopefully they're smart enough to have a nest egg away. Hopefully they're smart enough to have the what Lucy Liu refers to as the FU money, where you can just throw down and be like, nope, I'm going to go away.
Peace.
I'm going to do what I want to do. You know, get away from me, you demons, kind of thing.
Yep.
Hopefully they have the nest egg there where they don't have to answer to anybody, where they can put this stuff out, do it at their pace, but at the same time, then you need a rod for that back to put the pace in them to get it done. Because I love Obsidian, but if it wasn't for Kickstarter, Obsidian wouldn't be alive today.
100%.
Like, they nailed their Kickstarter stuff, but then they answered to the backers. They answered to the people. I think if they had a nest egg, they wouldn't have made it this far. Because Obsidian kind of always took their own time, and there were problems with their work. I'm curious if we're going to see a fig for Destiny 3.
I really hope not. And I hope for a long time we don't see a Destiny 3. Because I feel like once you get out from under the contractual obligation to keep putting out larger pieces of content, I'm hoping you see something more akin to Warframe, where maybe once a year you get a larger update that has a longer tail on it, instead of here's a Warframe 2, that sort of thing. But yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting. And the one thing I hope that can come out of this is Bungie can get the player base back and find a way to start showing people that Destiny 2 is in a really great place and make that initial investment, and that investment pays off over a longer time, as opposed to blow through this short campaign and then 3 months later there's another short campaign, that sort of thing.
I mean, to be honest, like I'm hoping the best for them, because Bungie have made some of my favorite games of all time. Like, I am a Halo fan. You are not. This is an established fact for the show.
We're on the other side of the fence for Halo and Destiny.
Don't get me wrong. I love Destiny. I think Destiny is an incredible game. I have too many games as a service games to add another one to the list. That's always been my big issue with Destiny. Is like, I play Warframe, I play Elite Dangerous, I play a whole bunch of these games. I don't need to keep. If you want me to, I'll just play all of those games and I'll talk about the same 6 games every week kind of thing. But
well, and Destiny wasn't good enough to boot one of those out of the rotation. Like, it's not good enough for you to stop playing. Obviously not Elite Dangerous. Like, that's going to be MVP of all time. But like, it's not enough to boot something else out of the list. So you're now playing Elite and Destiny 2,
Yeah. I mean, I'm interested to see where they go. I do hope I wish them the best. I'm a little bit afraid for them. I'm going into this.
It's uncharted territory.
Excited trepidation, shall we say? Yeah,
I think that's fair. Next news story is the other big one this week, and this one is starts normal and ends really weird. Content warning. For the end of this one. So a former Gearbox lawyer is accusing CEO Randy Pitchford of a lot of stuff. So let's try and break it down, because this is probably like one of the more complicated news stories of 2019. So Gearbox is suing their previous legal counsel, Wade Callender. They're alleging that Callender did not repay money used for a home loan and some school tuition. Straightforward so far. Gearbox also alleges that he, quote, abused the privilege of credit card access by charging unapproved, wholly personal expenses, including family vacations, gun club memberships, and firearm accessories, and trying to get six-pack abs, end quote.
Wait, was that part of the actual legal...
That was actually part of the lawsuit. Was they're alleging that he used credit cards to get six-pack abs. I don't even know what that means. That's not nearly the weirdest thing in this news story.
Here's the question. 6-pack of beer or 6-pack of fitness?
Abdominal muscles.
Okay.
Yeah, so Okay, so this is all. Those are all fairly serious accusations for any employee of any company, especially for legal counsel.
Yes.
Wade Callender countersued, alleging that Randy Pitchford himself struck a deal to receive a secret executive bonus of $12 million paid directly to an entity called Pitchford Entertainment Media Magic LLC. The lawsuit also alleges a bonus like this would normally either go to staff as bonuses or as financing for the next Borderlands game. So, also a serious accusation. It's assuming this is coming from Take-Two, since they're Gearbox's typical publisher.
Yes.
But I don't know if that was explicitly said in the lawsuit. Also, not the craziest part. Here's the crazy part. Content warning.
This is where we go. This is the rabbit hole we go down.
Yeah, and this is where it gets weird and unfortunate. The craziest part here is Callender's lawsuit alleges that Randy Pitchford once lost a USB drive at a Medieval Times that was chock full of unencrypted company secrets
and
child pornography.
There we go.
So, I was with Callender all the way up until the point where he goes like, also he's into kiddie porn. It's like,
That might be throwing it a bit too far.
I sincerely hope that's not true for about 400 different reasons.
Yep.
I hope, number one, I sincerely hope none of this stuff is true, and it's all just a misunderstanding, or it's some bonus payment that just got misrouted or something like that.
Well, the Medieval Times thing is definitely true. The contents of the drive is questionable, but the medieval,
how young the performer in question is still under. But yeah, this Kotaku article, which seems to be the article Jason Schreier doing yet another really great reporting job.
Give that guy a raise, Kotaku, by the way.
Yeah, the last news stories both originated with him. Yeah, the first of all, Medieval Times, sweet God.
First, okay, so hold on. Before we shake any disbelief at this lawsuit, let's keep in mind that this is Randy Pitchford we're talking about here.
Magician/CEO.
Magician/CEO/hobby grade enthusiast, as he called Battleborn.
Yes. Boy, that's so a weird tweet.
The same Randy Pitchford who completely to this day is insistent that Aliens Colonial Marines was a perfect game when it came out.
And there was no misrepresentation.
Funding?
Well, there was no misrepresentation of what the game was and what the game was released to be, because that was the last big lawsuit that Gearbox was involved with.
Yep.
Lastly, Gearbox, of course, says all these accusations are crazy. They will be filing a grievance with the State Bar of Texas for, quote, accusations Callender's knows to be untrue, end quote.
Okay.
If you want to read both of the full lawsuits, they're in the show notes. This whole thing is crazy, and it started off really crazy when it got written about, I think, on Friday morning, and throughout Friday just got crazier and crazier.
Yep.
I normally we wouldn't talk about the underage nature of the contents in question, but this whole thing is just so crazy and has seemed to catch like wildfire so quickly, with ex-Gearbox employees chiming in, like their ex-CFO saying on Twitter, yeah, it's true, and be like, but wait, which part? All of it? What one? What's true? Because all of it is so crazy to believe that.
You specifically have called out the cult of personality before.
Yes.
With regards to a certain Tesla owner who will remain unnamed.
Thankfully.
I think this is a really good example of when that cult of personality starts to go away a little bit, and let's see how many let's see how many squirrels come out of the closets kind of situation.
Well, I mean, that's always been the thing I've been uncomfortable with Kojima. Like, Kojima has not always put out great games, but because they have the Kojima name, you can't go out and say, like, look, some parts of Metal Gear Solid weren't that great, because a bunch of nerds come out of the rafters and go, well, actually, you don't understand. It's like, oh my god. So, and I feel like
3 is hot garbage. Until you get used to it, then it's amazing, but 3 is hot garbage.
The original release of 3 is really bad. The second release is much better.
Yeah, Subsistence is amazing.
Yeah, Subsistence is really good. The first release of 3 is really rough.
Yeah, I quit playing Metal Gear Solid games because of that original release. Fun fact.
Yeah, I don't blame you. But you're absolutely right. Like, you look at somebody like Randy Pitchford, has been seen as this, I guess to everybody except for Jim Sterling, has been seen as this relatively harmless magician CEO that just seems weird and won't stop running his mouth.
Yeah, and oh no, he accidentally got defrauded by his former babysitter / accountant / person, whoever that was.
Right.
Like, what a shame for the multi-millionaire CEO. What a shame.
Yeah, and like, that's a great point. I'd forgotten about that, where his personal assistant had potentially stolen millions of dollars, which is bad by itself, and then to have these back and forth lawsuits with some pretty crazy allegations towards each other is just really weird. Like we talked about in the pre-show about American reality TV, this feels a lot like what we would watch, where it's like, he sent me a lawsuit about porn. It's just like, oh my god. I'll tell the world about his 6-pack abs. It's like, oh my god. Okay. So I don't necessarily. Usually with larger lawsuits like this, we try and sort of follow them. End. Yeah, like we try and follow them as major major lawsuit as stuff happens. There you go. Sorry, I just got a text and my brain is off in texting land. I don't know how much we'll be able to track this one, because I'm really hoping the slap fight on this one isn't public.
No, this is going to get NDA'd so quick. Come on.
Just for our sake.
Just the accusations that have already come out. I was like, okay, you want to go down this road?
Right.
Let's go. Like, come on.
Yikes. So let's move on to other much happier, well, most of these are happier news stories. On the THQ Nordic, what have we bought this week front? They've recently purchased the rights to Outcast, the very famous PC game from 1999.
Wait, that's our Patreon content? Why are they purchasing our Patreon content?
That's right. Go sue them. We're not suing you, THQ. You could just sell one of these games to crush us. Speaking of getting crushed, Catherine Classic is available on Steam right now. That's a puzzle game reference for all of you. Catherine is a really fun game. 2011 was a really long time ago, and the Japanese have maybe some Atlas specifically has some unfortunate attitudes towards transgender folks, which has not aged particularly well in Catherine's instance. But it's a really unique, fun, sheep dreaming, puzzle pushing block game that has a really weird competitive scene to it as well. If people haven't looked into that, you should. Tropico 6 got delayed until March something. Where did I put this?
Hold on. Say that a little bit quieter, please, because I'm listening to you through headphones, but my wife will hear it if you say that name.
Tropico 6 was delayed.
Is that delayed till this year or next year?
March 29th, 2019.
Okay.
The open letter came out from Simon Helwig, the director or managing director of Calypso Media, which is one of these letters we really like that was pretty honest. He said, quote, "Over the holidays, I played Tropico 6 for many hours and really liked what I saw, but in my humble opinion, is not enough to like a game. I want to love it. Tropico 6 is good, but not very good or outstanding yet." Combining my own opinion and the response we've had from thousands of dedicated beta players around the world, Calypso has decided to postpone the release for another couple months to March 29th, 2019.
Okay, good on them. That's the type of stuff we love, like you said.
Yeah. And it's not even just like, we're just squashing those bugs. Don't worry. They're coming out and being like, look, it's really good, but if we're going to put out another Tropico game, like, we really want it to be great. Like, we want to put out a really great game.
Yeah. Coach Jamal brings up a good point in chat, by the way, about Catherine. You guys did the Catherine spoiler cast.
We did. That's right.
If you play the game on the PC and are interested, go re-listen.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't remember if it's backwards compatible on Xbox One or not.
It's not.
Okay. Well, yeah. Sort of surprising they put this out on PC. They didn't backwards compatible on Xbox One because it's just building interest for the remake/remaster sort of thing that they're doing for Catherine Full Body that's coming out sometime this year. And last news story, certainly not least, Awesome Games Done Quick happened last week. They ended with $2.395 million, which is their biggest total by $100,000.
Good for AGDQ.
Yeah, I watched a couple of runs this year. The Celeste speedrun was incredible. Highly recommend that.
Speaking of, I know you don't listen too much. They had the music devs from Celeste on this week's Beastcast, so...
I did see the... I need to go download that. Yeah, Lena Rain and Erica... I don't know how to pronounce her last name. But I'm big fans of both of them. So I'm excited to go listen to that.
In your podcast, recommending a podcast for you to listen to.
Yes. Yeah, finish this one first and then go listen.
Yeah.
But I also really liked the Hollow Knight speedrun. We talked about that a little bit last week, but if you finish that, go watch that. It's less than an hour, I think, but it was really one of those very few. They're not using big glitches or anything. It's just a really skilled speedrun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure someone will have on the speedrunning subreddit will have a huge list of the video on demand to go watch. You should go watch some of that. There are a lot of really great runs this year. And I wish I'd caught more of them. All right, let's move on to questions. Coach Jamal on Twitch chat says, what crappy games did you finish because the story was great? And vice versa, what games with crappy story have you finished what crappy games have you finished thanks to a great story? We talked about Eternal Sonata earlier.
Yeah. That could technically fit into both sides of this argument.
I was just thinking, that pause of mine was sort of like, wait, which one do I put it in? Because the story was weird and fine, but the gameplay was
weird and fine too.
But yeah, that was just a weird game.
I think that's the prime example of fitting into both, because I definitely preferred the story over the mechanics, but you probably preferred the mechanics over the story.
Yeah, I liked most of the story except for a video game's longest death scene.
Well, that's from the second you hit new game.
No, there's that one. I'll never forget it because Brad and I both lost our poops over it. There's one woman is like dying in a cabin or something, and it keeps
that one. Yep,
zooming out the window and then coming. She's like, oh, and my life goes away, and then like it zooms out the window and you're like, all right, and then it cuts back to her in the building. It's like, one more thing. And they do that like 2 or 3 more times. She's like, please just die.
Yeah.
I'm already sad. You gotta go.
We talked earlier about Enchanted Arms.
Yeah, I feel like that...
The setting really got me through that. I loved the setting. The story was interesting. The gameplay was hard garbage for me.
It was pretty workmanlike. Mm-hmm. It technically functioned. What crappy games have you finished because the story was great? I almost want to say Alpha Protocol, because the gameplay is not always great, but the story is really good.
Well, yeah, Alpha Protocol definitely fits in that one. BioShock 1?
Yeah, gameplay is not always... People look at that game through a lot. Very thick rose-tinted glasses.
Come on, they look at that through rose-tinted Coke bottles, man.
Yeah. Other than fighting Big Daddies, the gameplay was kind of a standard first-person shooter.
You want to talk about the best BioShock gameplay? Let's talk BioShock 2. Also, one of the best stories. Also, one of the best perspective shifts in video game history.
Yes. Yep. God, BioShock 2 is so... I hate that more people didn't play BioShock 2 because it is legitimately really good and way better than the first one.
Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong, BioShock 1 has a seminal moment in video gaming history.
Yeah.
It does. And rightly, it does have that one line that sums up that game.
Yep.
BioShock 2 is such an incredible masterpiece of weaving all of these things together. And I'm not kidding, folks, when I say the perspective shift on that game is the best I've ever experienced in video games.
It's a very short scene, but just seeing what their character sees day to day and seeing how that juxtaposes to what Rapture actually looks like is incredible.
It makes so many lines of dialogue in all of those games make sense because of that perspective shift.
One of my favorite things about that game is actually the what do they call them? Big sisters?
Yes. One big sister.
Oh, yeah. When you would hear it coming from the distance, and you're like, okay, I have to lock this room down. I got to fight this thing off. Like, you're putting trap mines everywhere, and I'm gonna hunker down and fight this thing off. And then actually doing it is just... Man, that game is great.
Mm-hmm.
I should play that again.
Yeah, we really probably should.
Yeah.
It's a game club?
Yeah, maybe. It's unfortunate they not enough people played that multiplayer either. They figured out how to make all those powers work in multiplayer.
And it was good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah. I'll stick with that one. That one's good. Almighty Tooth in Discord says, the person Moonpier, Bearded Lady, and I were playing Sea of Thieves with is my aunt. Her, my wife, and I have been sailing together since the launch of the game. She started gaming a year ago with GTA Online, just throwing herself to the wolves. Her husband started with GTA and moved on to Call of Duty Zombies, which he has played every night on his own Xbox. Have you guys ever had a relative all of a sudden want to play games with you?
My dad, we went in phases. Like, when I was really, really young, like, talking, like, Amstrad kind of era.
Yeah.
Like, he was really into those for a little bit, and then he fell off games for a while. Then he came back around about the SNES era, and then fell off again. Came back for the GameCube era, then fell off again. But then the OG Xbox Splinter Cell was when he jumped on and stayed on, and then didn't jump off that train ever since then.
Right.
Just randomly out of the blue, it was, yo, let's play some video games. And then that led to Left 4 Dead, which led to getting him the full 1000G in both Left 4 Dead 1 and 2. Including the expert runs, so yeah.
He's way better at that game than I am.
He was pretty impressive at those games. Like,
yeah,
he was good.
Man, I don't think I've ever had any relatives want to play. I think I got my father-in-law a little bit interested in Destiny 2 when I was playing it when he was here last weekend. Mostly because I got a new bow and I was sort of playing around with it, and he was just sort of like, "Oh, what's all this? Oh, hello." But I think if you don't have a console already, the investment in that is fairly high.
Quite a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the only other thing was my sister, and I think she played quote unquote grown up video games for a little bit, but then she ended up going down the every John Q Street Fighter fan rabbit hole, which is she plays Pokemon Go, she plays mobile games, she's got probably still got her DS that she plays or whatever.
Oh, nice.
But she's now pretty much just a mobile gamer at this point.
I mean, that makes sense for so many people because you have the thing with you all the time.
Yeah, you have the device, you don't have to drop another $600 in to play it, so
yeah. Maximus Prime in Discord asks, it's sort of a longer one, the placebo effect. So with the most recent news about Bungie and Activision splitting ways and Bungie still retaining the Destiny IP, how I feel about the future of the franchise and even the current game itself has completely flipped and done a 180. I've jumped back in and started playing dailies and love it. Shoot, even Crucible's a blast now. I know the game has not changed one bit since I played last, but because I know Activision no longer has its talons in one of my favorite developers of all time, I now have a completely different feeling for the game. Has a change like this that you know good and well doesn't at all affect the current state of the video game ever made you feel differently about the game and made you either love or hate it simply because of a behind-the-scenes business change that occurred? If so, what game or what series and what type of shift in the game or business handling made the difference and why? As always, y'all keep on keeping up, and until the next time, Maximus out.
Business
That's
change.
A good question.
Yeah. I literally said, which made me think of the thing my wife always makes fun of me for, which is I will be playing video games and I will say, and I sound like a villager from Minecraft.
I always go, oh, that's my big thing.
When Microsoft bought Minecraft, that was this exact thing. Suddenly, I was so much more interested in Minecraft because it was being done by a huge publisher and developer.
Right.
Like, the second they picked that up, I was like, okay, now we got support, now we got some money behind it, now we got...
It's not going to... It wasn't likely to disappear before, but you feel like the foundation got more solid.
I was like, okay. Especially because as soon as that happened, I actually read into it. It's like, basically only the top 3 people are going. Everyone else who are like team leads and stuff like that, they're all staying on. I was like, that's perfect. Right. That's exactly what I needed to know.
Yeah.
I'm happier about this now than ever. Same again, Microsoft picking up the stupid studio that did the face mask game.
The face mask game?
I'll take your face off. I'm full of joy.
Oh, We Happy Few. Yeah.
I'm interested in that now that Microsoft own that studio. I'm not going to play it because I don't really want to.
But you know now they have more financial stability. It's like Obsidian. You know, they now have the financial stability they've really needed from a dedicated source as opposed to, well, we'll publish this game, and if it does well enough on Metacritic, maybe we'll publish the next one. You know, it's not... Yeah. Oh, man. I'm trying to think of any time... I almost wanted to say Diablo 3, but I feel like that wasn't necessarily... Getting rid of the real money auction house and doing Loot 2.0, I feel like wasn't really like a sea change from a business standpoint. I think it was really like, yeah, we did it wrong and we listened to you guys and it just took us a long time to fix all this stuff.
But that's a business model change, isn't it?
That's true, yeah. That's a good point.
It's kind of like the opposite of hearing that Evolve has gone free to play, and it's like, okay, never want to play that thing again. I would genuinely like that game, and I never want to play it again because it went free to play.
I read a good interview with the Evolve devs the other day, and one of their big takeaways from the game was sometimes you have to realize that a game you're making isn't as fun to play as you're hoping it will be. And I was like, yeah, ouch. Okay.
Did you talk to the Below guys in the middle of this interview by any chance?
No, poor. They're coming out with a big patch, I think, this week with a bunch of rebalancing and a bunch of fixes. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do with Below. That could be a game I enjoy if they sort of tweak some stuff. We'll see.
Yeah.
T-Bomb Rocks in Discord says, recently I was watching a demo playthrough of Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. I was impressed that each of the play areas were so large and looked polished. Truly seems like an evolution of Symphony of Night, evolution's not a word, into a new series. When
Just
do you
make me think of you two. I hate you so much.
God, I'm sorry for anyone that has to think about you two. When do you think the game actually releases and will it meet my and others' hefty expectations? I love that the thing on everybody's mind this week, our community sort of inside and out, is sort of game expectations and managing thereof. I am a Kickstarter backer of Bloodstained, and they have been very transparent about the development difficulties of that game, and I feel like for me that has allowed me to sort of ignore it until it's out.
Temper your expectations, not get too overhyped, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time doing that with Toe Jam and Earl, though, because
that's also, I think that's a different matter, though, because that's Toe Jam and Earl. This is something you've been waiting for how long?
Decades.
And when was the last really great Castlevania game that you loved?
I really liked that DS one, the Portrait of Ruin? No, the one that came after Portrait of Ruin. Order of Ecclesia.
Or whatever it's called.
Yeah, Order of Ecclesia. That one was really great. Oh, God, have I played one since then? Has there been one since then?
Lords of Shadow?
I like Lords of Shadow 1, but I feel like that's a different...
It's a different type of game,
beast.
But technically it's still a Castlevania game.
That's fair. I like that one a lot.
In the meantime, between now and those Castlevanias coming out, have you had opportunity to play side-scrolling Metroidvania games that are really well designed? I'm not talking specifically in regard a Castlevania one, but let's talk about stuff like Axiom Verge. The Mummy game that we did for...
That was really good. I was hoping it would be Owlboy, but that was a different game.
You know, you've played these Castlevania games so much between then and now.
That's true.
When was the last time you played a roguelike based on hip-hop/R&B that has a killer soundtrack and amazing comedy writing and...
Except for the hip-hop, Crypt of the Necrodancer is pretty close.
Exactly.
I looked at when Toe Jam Earl was released, the first one, which we really haven't gotten a super great sequel to, 1991.
There you go. So that's how long you've been waiting versus maybe 5 years.
It came out when I was 10. So
it came out when I was like 6, dude.
Yeah. So it's been a long time. And I think one of the things, the difference between the two is that Human Nature Studios, who's developing Toe Jam Earl Back in the Groove, is so excited they're making another one of these, and its excitement is infectious in a way that doesn't feel like it's marketing. It feels like there are 5 of us making this game, and we're all super pumped. And Bloodstained feels very much like Iga is helping to temper expectations, saying like, it's not another Symphony of the Night. I know you guys love it. Yay, Symphony of the Night. That's so good.
We're not making one of those. Carry my whip. It's not one of these.
Yeah, like sword or whip. Like we're not making another one of those. We're trying to make something similar to it. I've paid attention to so little of it because it keeps getting pushed back that I'm not even entirely. When he said in this thing, like, each area is really large, I was like, that sounds cool. Like, I had no idea.
Yep. I'm looking forward to it. I will pick it up when I can pick it up.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to another Metroidvania, especially from someone who helped formalize the subgenre.
Yeah.
Yeah. T-Bomb Rocks in Discord also asks us, have you ever considered a middle-of-the-year Game of the Year list and compare it to your final list to see what's changed? Yeah, I feel like that would be sort of interesting. I, at this point, would almost rather do like a middle-of-the-year games we were looking forward to at the end of last year episode. Where it's like, all right, 6 months have happened. Which one of these games are out? Stand? Yeah, like, are we still excited about some of these other ones coming out?
Was Resident Evil 2 as good as we hoped?
Right. Yeah, that sort of thing.
Did Anthem land?
Did Kingdom Hearts 3 come out?
No.
At all?
We already know the answer to that.
God, we're so close. Talk about another game.
It's like literally like the end of this month, isn't it, as well?
It's like the 29th or 25th or something.
Right near my birthday. And it's like...
I got it pre-ordered. It's coming.
I want to go down that hole again. I really do.
I know.
But I'm so scared.
I only have... at the beginning of this month, I had 3 video games left on my pre-order list on Amazon. Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. Mm-hmm. Kingdom Hearts 3. Mm-hmm. Crackdown 3. Those are the only games left I have pre-ordered.
Well, Crackdown 3 you get with Game Pass now, so cancel that pre-order.
Here's the thing, though. Good... I'm
good or bad, you want to support it?
I want to support it, number one. I'm also expecting it to have a less than stellar reception.
Oh,
so it's almost like a trophy in the collection.
Yeah. Look at this book that I shot. It's called Crackdown 3.
Right. Yeah, so... But I definitely do want to support them and, grab it, pop it in my Xbox One, and me and Terry Crews can, paint the town red.
I don't think... Is it this week? Sorry, 1 second. Let me just figure out my mental math here.
Okay.
So it's not this week, it's next week. If I didn't have dental surgery next week.
Right.
This would probably be higher on my like priority list right now. But I want to go down that hole. But then it's me, so I want to get the collection and I want to play 1 and 2 before I jump into 3.
Yeah.
So maybe I shouldn't do that because
of Kingdom Hearts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come on, it's one of those games. It's like I think what I'll probably do is I will wait until a week before the game comes out.
Mm-hmm.
I will YouTube
the complete story synopsis.
The story so far of Kingdom Hearts.
Yep.
I'll see how I feel after watching that and getting my mind blown and shaken all over the place.
Right.
And then we'll see if I pick it up or not. I want to pick it up so much, but...
Yeah. I feel like I need to do that too. Allegedly, there is a fairly solid... like what happened last week on Kingdom Hearts sort of intro to the game, which will be good. But I think if I find one of those videos that's really good, I'll send it over to you. But
okay,
I feel like I also need to catch up because Birth by Sleep came out on the PSP, and that's the last one I played.
And Dream Drop Remix came out on the Game Boy Color.
Yeah, so it's been a while. No, that one came out on DS.
Are you sure?
Game Boy Advance was Chain of Memories.
Chain of Memories, yeah. That was the trading card game, correct?
Yeah.
Really good.
Card battling game. That one was really good. I really liked that one. Yeah.
Death by Sleep, Super Mega Hyper Remix.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways, last question here is from Maximus Prime again. Says, all right, I have to preface this question with one game and one game only, Anthem. I've watched numerous gameplay videos and streams on the game with the devs, Fallout videos, etc., and every time I see it, I get more and more excited to the point where it scares me. I remember getting excited about Destiny as they showed content, but they were not even as close to as transparent, and they didn't answer the questions anywhere close to the way that BioWare has. It's looking to be truly for me, ... the game of the generation. That said, my question is much shorter than my lead-in. Have you ever been so completely excited about an upcoming game that it made you absolutely scared that upon release you'd be absolutely disappointed? If so, what game and why? I feel like there had to be one that came out that like broke me of doing this.
Yeah, I think we all go through that. I mean, I love you, Mac, but you're the only person I know who doesn't learn your lesson. Don't get hyped about games.
Yeah,
Mac. Come on.
Don't pay attention to the PR. Well, and to be fair, BioWare has been doing a really great PR job around Anthem.
Yeah, managing expectations, kind of.
That's the last big game I was excited about, like super pumped about on release.
It's Star Wars Galaxies, #1. There you go.
Yeah. Final Fantasy VIII? Because 7 was just such a huge watershed moment for gaming. As soon as that game came out until 8 was announced, it was the only thing anyone could talk about.
Yeah.
And 8 happened to be really good. I don't want to hear anything. Moon and I agree. 8 is really great, and I don't at me. Don't at either one of us.
Great. 8 is really great.
Right. Remaster 8. You cowards.
Yes, please. To do Star Wars Old Republic MMO again.
Yeah.
I feel like Titanfall 1.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that one had a huge amount because it was like, we broke away from Call of Duty to do our own thing, and it's going to be about robots. And I was like, well, that's okay. Yeah, sure.
And that's another game where you can tell the devs were really pumped about what they were working on, and they were super excited. And then there is no campaign, and it's all just multiplayer, and it's $60. It's like, okay, so...
I didn't get on the hype train for Destiny 1, really. Because I remember my wife and I watched that initial gameplay trailer from E3, and we both sort of like, oh, well, this sort of looks like something similar to Borderlands where we can play a co-op game. So, all right, we're both going to pre-order PS4s and Destiny. All right, here we go.
Yeah. The OG Deus Ex.
Yeah.
I was so hyped for that based on what everyone was talking about at the time. And then I tried to play it and couldn't figure out what on earth I was doing, and just constantly got shot by those stupid RoboCop bad guy things on the docks. And I just got so mad, I wasn't interested anymore.
You know what? I'm actually going to say Borderlands 2. I think after the first Borderlands took us by surprise and really took like the whole community by storm, they announced another one where it's like, it's bigger, it's dumber, it's even crazier. And that first trailer with Claptrap was sort of like, okay, I'm pretty, like that first dubstep trailer was like, all right, I'm pretty excited about this now.
Yeah.
That one didn't really let down though.
No, it didn't, but it did at the same time. That one you got let down by further down the line when it was like, well, we're patching this to take out all these bugs because clearly it matters in this single player, multiplayer, like co-op thing.
Actually,
I hate those decisions.
One game that I was really excited about that I was let down by was Crackdown 2. I was really excited getting another one of those, and then it was, for better or for worse, largely a retread of the first one, but without what made it great. And I think that was one of those games where it's like, okay, it's not a bad game, but I think I got too excited. That
might be the game that broke me of this habit, because that's the quintessential example of it. It's like, I adore Crackdown 1. I love Crackdown 1. I played Crackdown 1 so much.
It's
Crackdown
really great.
2 is coming out. Let's get hype.
Hell yeah, another Crackdown. It's a miracle.
It's the same game with less interesting thing because there's no gang structure really.
Yep.
That game only got fun when the DLC came out.
Yep.
That might be the game.
That's that might be
for this category, because I'm trying to think of like other things like sequels. I haven't really been disappointed by too many sequels.
No, because I could say Fable 2, but that's sort of an infamous moment in this podcast history.
Yeah. And
Fable 3 I didn't play enough of to be disappointed in.
It's not as bad as you think.
Yeah, it seemed fine. Oh. I think I'm going to go with Crackdown 2. That seems to me like the most...
I think that's the winner of this category of the week.
Because Crackdown getting a sequel was a miracle. Like, make no mistake about it. Crackdown 1 didn't do well. It only did because it came bundled in with
a Halo
beta? Yeah. And then a bunch of people tried it and like, this is really fun. And just for that to even get announced to have a sequel was incredible.
I wonder if Crackdown 3 will come with the Halo Infinite beta.
Oh God, if only. Just bring this whole thing full circle.
Loop it back around, make a good Crackdown game, put the Halo beta in there.
Yeah.
Fine.
Man. Put the whole thing on Game Pass. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
All right, that's our episode this week. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page. Patreon.com/E1M1, the ones are numbers. All the behind-the-scenes exclusive episodes like Outcast for the $2 peeps, early access. You know, we're halfway through the month, so in a couple weeks we'll be getting a brand new episode of DST and ODNF.
Yep.
Early access to We Roguelike It. That show is back to clipping on now that we're done with the holiday season. Listen to me being bad and discovering mystery stuff in the game we're playing right now. Game Club last week for Iconoclasts. Normally this would be where community picks, but we're a month off, so this next one will be randomized. And I think that's it. So thank you very much for listening. We'll see you all next week.
Bye. Also, I'm going to totally veto Kose's
the last one.
His show title suggestion in chat. I didn't even write it down.
So if you're listening to the audio version, he wrote maybe risky show title, underage nature. Those are two really great words together. In context. It's unfortunately. It'd be like a really great...
If we were talking about Minecraft story mode, that would be a great show title.
It'd be like a really great indie EP title. Yeah. From Silver Sun Pickups. It's underage nature. Okay, hit me with those titles.
Mine are a bit out of order here, so I do apologize. What a Shame for the Multimillionaire CEO. Monster Mash This. Angry Spaghetti. Everyone Makes Too Much Spaghetti. Or Everyone Makes Too Much Pasta, I think that... I don't know, whatever.
That's what I have written down.
Get on my Xbox One. How Does It Usually Go? No Margin for Error. Just Unbreak Your Leg. Back on the Randy Train. Six-Pack Abs. I'll Tell the World About His Six-Pack Abs. And that's it for me.
I have so smooth, so music. Wibbly wobbly roly poly. Everyone makes too much pasta. Angry spaghetti, which I really like. Monster Mash this. 200 Days of Zombie Summer, and the 200 is in parentheses, of course, just like the movie. Just Unbreak Your Leg, which I also really like, and Six Pack Abs. I like Just Unbreak Your Leg or Angry Spaghetti.
Angry Spaghetti, I think, has to take it, because that's so perfect.
Yeah.
And you know what? BK deserves a show title.
Yeah. BK's our favorite trash panda that loves texting a duck emoji.
Yes. I love that, by the way.
If you buy Donut County on iOS, you get the duck emoji sticker.
Yeah, I had.
Which is really good.
It's a shame I've got an Android phone.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't put it out on there. I don't know if that's coming or not. It'd be a bummer. More people should play Donut County. All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 586 for January 14th, 2019. Angry Spaghetti?
He did nothing wrong. He just got rid of them.
All right, thank you so much, everyone, for watching. See you next week. Bye.
See you, folks.
And we're done recording.
Listen for the space bar. Hit the stop